And we're back here once again, another episode, the Iron Man Podcast, episode 584. So yesterday we didn't not have Wednesday Top Gs because Sam forgot he had a prior obligation. Kaida had to work. So yeah, a black guy working, that's definitely not real. And then Iron and Selena said they would do it, but then I took a nap because I'm old and tired after work. My days off were split. And then I woke up at 8:30 and they were waiting for the link at 8. And then Darnell said he couldn't do it because his air conditioning broke inside of his basement. So he was sweating basically, and it was not going to work for him. So yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let's push the show to Thursday. So I'll make it up for you guys. We'll do it Thursday. So Jared dropped out. Nick said, who else we got? And I was like, we have a Christian MILF white lady. He's like, ah, sure, it works. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of how we got here. We're starting late a little bit. We have like an hour time. Starting a little bit late because I was out of town. As you guys know, I have some things in the works that I'm doing. So I'm almost there.
The stream is late. The stream
no, it's
is
not.
late.
No, it's not.
The stream may be late, but MSK's girlfriend definitely is not.
Having sex is gross, Nick. What do we talk about? That's disgusting.
What is sex? I told you before the stream. I don't know what sex is.
Isn't it like some sort of hey?
Well,
fresh pizza.
I think you can get a test
better.
for that. So
yes, a hot fresh pizza out of the oven is better than sex. I had Little Caesars pizza, hot and fresh. Whoo, my God, way better than tasting any girl I've ever tasted in my life. Actually,
try asking in the shower before you go down.
After this, that's just wrong. What the hell? You're deranged. You're insane. You need help, sir.
How dare I demand cleanliness of the women?
oh well.
I am so sorry.
The way you guys talk about it, it's just amazing that you I don't know, aren't lying, I guess.
Yeah, as people know, I'm working on some stuff behind the scenes. People saw, I actually downstairs. My friend's sister, she was like, "You want this bookcase?" And I was like, "Sure." So that's the bookshelf right there. I did a few comic book haul videos because I have a channel update video coming out about my comic channel. No, I haven't quit. No, I don't love comics. None of that's true. I've just been really fucking busy, honestly. So yeah, that's not even half of my collection. I have another show over there too. So keep in mind, I don't have too many reading novels actually. I have like one specific novel. I can't read it without pictures on it. I'm just like a kid, honestly. So if you wrote a book, I would get to like page 1. It'd be like the protagonist. No, put it down. Nope, fuck that shit. So
well, speaking of novels.
Yes.
I have one.
Segue. Yeah. Nick, is most of that funding going to your editor?
Yeah.
Nick, how much are you paying this guy?
Lots and lots of money, and he's worth every penny.
I love Daniel. Daniel's an awesome guy.
Also part of it is also going to go to Xevious to do like some of the cover design. Because like I've had some stuff back and forth, it hasn't really been up to my standard stuff. I want it done right, so I talked to Xevious. He'll take care of me.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm using Kickstarter funds for a book on the book. Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Oh my God, yeah. So that means you're lining up Daniel's pockets and lining up your artist's pockets, but not your own, essentially. Because most of this is going to go to shipping, printing the book. So how much do you're gonna have $10?
How dare I not pocket any money?
You're gonna have $10 left for a candy bar and a Sprite and some.
I know, isn't it great? I'll have money left over. I'm gonna have money left over. Isn't that amazing?
You're gonna have that sign where it's like beg for funds for Kickstarter.
Well,
holy shit.
A lot of. I mean, I haven't even factored in printing the books yet. So.
Oh great! We're so screwed. Everybody.
But honestly, my philosophy is. By the way, the link's in the private chat if you want to pull it up.
I hate you.
My thing is, I wanted a proper editor. I wanted this done right. Daniel is highly recommended in the Iron Age community, and so far he's been a great dude. So my book's in good hands. So as long as I have a good book, everything else will follow. Like I'm going to have to put in some seed money to get stuff printed, but if it's a really good book, which I believe in the book itself, obviously it's not perfect. Needs an editor. But even Daniel said it has potential. So, like,
I mean, you never know. As long as you put it out there, you're fine. Like, because people have like Duran. Why don't you have the book on Amazon? It's gonna be on Amazon too. You could easily get sales off there if you pimp that out enough. Honestly,
That is the plan, sir. It will be on
Yes.
Amazon.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, actually, I already have stuff on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Like, if you go to Barnes and Noble, you can order one of my comics right now.
You know, hey, that means you're legit in the industry. You know, that means that you have.
Right?
That means you have clout that I need. Actually,
Yeah. So I released the first 2 issues of Turn Samurai as a standalone graphic novel. You can buy it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble right now. I'm trying to show my own book, but I ended up just showing my comics.
God, man. Emily, how you doing? Happy Thursday. Thank you so much. Booster pack giveaway. Oh, I just typed that from an ad I saw on YouTube, honestly. So nobody's getting shit here. People are getting quality content. That's what they're getting. Just notice the new hat. People will see that in the videos, actually. The videos that I did. I made the commitment to everyone. I'm putting out consistent content, and you guys have seen it. People said, "You didn't upload yesterday." I know. Those videos are done and edited. I just have to put the thumbnails on them now. So it's time consuming. The TV's still in the box. The TV's not in the box. That's just a figment of your imagination.
What's in the box?
Hope and love.
Why don't you just pick the box? Why don't you just put the box up? You could probably put it up with some duct tape.
No, but then he can't flex that he has a TV.
Cut the picture off of it. Cut the picture of the TV off the box.
Lady, I've only seen your living room and your cat. Wait a minute. Pause.
Hey, you've seen
What?
my dog too. So
Yeah, there's just been I've seen a cat and a lady.
yes, well, there's a reason for that.
Living the high life.
Yeah,
well,
but she can cook food.
I haven't been very vocal about it, but we're trying to move right now. So
yeah, I heard that. So hopefully that works out. We get a bigger house or a more of a smaller house?
We're trying to get one further out of the city. So
smart. That is smart.
You're gonna be a farm lady? You're gonna be a farm girl? Oh my god.
She's gonna have chickens and a cow.
And a horse.
Yes, well, I may or may not have already had chickens. So
Ooh.
Whoa. Damn.
Chickens are cool.
I like those.
It depends on if my HOA is listening. So
oh.
Are you
I want to own a goat. Like, I just want to own a goat. That's what I want to own.
I think dogs are better than goats.
Well, the thing is, if I end up owning like a large property, like at least an acre, I'm probably going to want the goats to like take care of the foliage in the back, and that way I just have to mow like the front part of it, and then they can kind of tame out the rest.
Okay, so my in my family we have some homesteaders and they have goats, and the only problem with it is when they get sick. It's very hard to find a goat veterinarian.
Oh.
So
No way.
I've seen
Really?
some really interesting goat problems because of that, and most of it comes out the back. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I just like goats because they're nature's lawnmowers. Because like if you get the sheep, they'll go all the way down, whereas goats will leave a little bit left, and they'd also take care of like the leaves on the branches.
well, if you
So
don't like mowing your lawn, just get a clover lawn.
I will also say, what's the difference? Like, the worst animal that could exist in the world is just a zebra. Because it's just a black and white horse. That's all it is. There's nothing special about it. That's it. Every other animal is something unique about it. Like even sharks, like they all look different, shapes and size. Their teeth are different. A zebra is just a black and white horse. That's it. There's nothing different about that animal. Because I figured out.
Did you know a rhino is actually is in the horse family?
I didn't know that, honestly. Fun fact.
Even
rhinos look different. Like way different, honestly. And they're cool. But what does a zebra do? Nothing. Like even
the thing about rhinos is they're constantly horny.
Huh. C.S. Johnson, why do we have this guy here? This guy's crazy.
The best part is that it took MSK a second to get the joke.
No, it didn't. You're just insane.
No, I saw like the split second where like you had to figure it out in your head.
I am not always horny. I had so much sex that.
You are not Rhino.
Here's that.
You're not Rhino.
How do you know that? I'm Craven the Hunter. I'm craving some pussy. No.
God.
I had it. It was a joke. I had it landed right there. Yeah, zebras are just fodder for lions. Actually, the more I figured it out, honestly.
At least hyenas had that laughing thing.
I would have thought it was the giraffes. That would be more. unappealing.
What are the long neck dinosaurs? Aren't they called like Brachiosaurus or something? The long neck giant dinosaurs. I want to be like that if I was an animal. Just be big, tall, eat grass, just be lazy.
Did you know that when a giraffe is born, it actually falls 6 feet to the ground?
It follows what?
It falls 6 feet to the ground.
Hello? Why do you know this stuff just randomly?
Oh, believe me, as a novelist, there are things that I know that are so random. I'll never use.
Oh god, I love those memes. Like as a novelist, I'm probably on so many FBI watch lists because the stuff you have to Google as a novelist. How long does it take blood to drain out of the body?
Depends on the severity of the cuts and the location, but I mean.
Oh my god! Why do you know this?
Oh well.
Yeah.
How can you get shot?
That's also
no. The best one is how can I get shot in the head and still live?
Oh well, I think there's certain like attempted assassination plot that could probably answer that these days.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories of like guys who try to take themselves out of the equation with nail guns to the head, and they still end up living.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
I guess you could say they really nailed it.
Not quite.
All right.
Yeah.
So speaking of writing, Nick needs an editor. C.S. Johnson doesn't need one anymore. Actually, she likes to flex on us that she's the perfect speller of all time. Honestly,
no.
Grandma and her are on Christmas card terms.
No, my joke about grammar is that I grew up in an era where like there were grammar Nazis, and now I live in a time where there's grammar communists. You know,
grammar supremacists.
Gosh, why are you such a grammar supremacist, C.S. Johnson? What's wrong with you?
Well, you know what they say. You either die a grammar Nazi or you live long enough to see yourself make a typo.
You know what's crazy is that if I see a typo in something, I'll try to quickly delete it or just erase it as fast as possible. I just can't stand looking at that stuff anymore. You know.
Sometimes when I'm in like internet arguments, I'll intentionally like misspell words just so that like they'll correct my spelling, thereby ruining their entire argument.
All right.
I guess you could say I'm quite the masturbator.
God, why do I have you here? You're just too much sometimes.
Yeah, I think you guys are perfectly balancing out each other's shtick. So.
Hey, are you? She was calling me a kid a second ago. She was like, "Are you an adult?" I'm like, what? She just threw massive insults at me. I'm like, you know what?
I mean, to be fair, you are currently throwing a temper tantrum. So
no, I was explaining a point and then driving it home. That's why they call me the best. I could be better than J.K. Rowling if I put my mind to it. Just no one would know who I am because I have no money. Oh gosh, you know what I was thinking about? The reason why most of these people are even pushed on us in general is because whoever was in charge of what they were doing probably paid so much for advertising and probably had connections to push people as hard as they did. Because people, like someone said, why aren't some of these like smaller creators getting noticed? Well, because first of all, time's different. Second of all, just the amount of like advertising and marketing you would need to even be on that level is just insane. Like no one on average has that kind of money or influence or connections. Well, I think mostly just kind of boils down to connections.
The difference is how long they last. The difference is how long they last. Look at all the Nepo babies in Hollywood. Okay, we get like for example, the woman in Avatar, and Nelson Peltz's daughter. She was in that, Transformers, and then she left because she's actually a shit actress. Versus, there's lots of actors who are actually like pretty decent actors or even good actors who are also Nepo babies. They get their push, and because they're actually decent actors, they stick around. It's the same thing with everything else. Like in the music industry, your initial push, you know, like your first album can sell a billion copies. You know, but then your second album is really where your career is made.
Well, I can speak to a little bit of some of the legacy publishers that you see So there's like Big Four, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them have direct dealings with bookstores, especially the bigger brand names. And they have a lot of deals with smaller, like trendy kind of indie bookshops nowadays. So those are the ones that stay in business. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so the legacy stuff from like the 90s to the early aughts that was kind of already on its way out is still roughly there. And that's why like you see a lot of these book sales that get put in, but they're also like not like actually selling. So
Yeah, that's kind of why I feel like the last big book movement was the YA movement of the 2010s, and we haven't really seen anything since then.
but the last like semi-organic big hit was probably the Hunger Games, and then after that they did a lot of astroturfing. So
Well, was it the Twilight? Well, I think thing is, I think you can draw a line from like Harry Potter to Hunger Games, because Harry Potter really like kind of created the YA market, and so you had like Hunger Games, Twilight, a lot of those like YA books, and they had like they had the YA movies of the 2010s. They kind of died out by around 2015.
there's a storm happening here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Part of it is that, yeah, part of it is that the other part of it is that technology had like gotten to the point where you could put trackers on people a lot better. You know, like part of the reason that Harry Potter went to Twilight was because it was from a very boy-centric thing to a very girl-centric thing. And then part of the reason that Hunger Games did so well is because it kind of took those two things and they blended it pretty well.
Yeah, because Hunger Games is essentially a girls franchise, but it has enough action and kind of intrigue that boys like. I enjoy the Hunger Games movies. I actually do enjoy them.
But you can see too with like the latest book, the Songbird and Snakes one, you can see that it's aged up with its audience because it's more dark and creepy than the original ones were. So
yeah, but that's also kind of part of the more recent movement of like doing. Oh, let's take this established franchise. Let's do a prequel novel like Midnight Sun. I mean, that was the Edward novel that one was supposed to come out in the early 2010s, but I remember it leaked online, and then Stephenie Meyer kind of shelved it for like half a decade.
Yeah, it did come out a few years ago, and it did respectably well.
Yeah, and so that's why I was saying like kind of a like recent trend of like, hey, let's go back to some of these from the 2000s. And Harry Potter did the same thing, just in movie form with the
Fantastic Beasts stuff.
In my opinion, I think the problem with the Fantastic Beasts films is people liked the first movie because it was like a fun, quirky creature movie. Then they tried to like move it into like, oh, it's this Wizarding War movie. It became like an entirely different franchise after the first movie. And I just don't think it really followed it up well. And also, I'm sorry, Mads Mikkelsen was a poor replacement for Johnny Depp.
Oh well, I saw the second one and then I copped out. So
I don't blame you.
But the other thing is that it became too self-referential for people like the normies to really enjoy it.
Yeah, like for example, putting McGonagall in there when. It's like she didn't start in Hogwarts for like another 20 years, because like 20 or 30 years, because I think the books the movies take place in like the late 20s, early 30s, and she didn't start until kind of thing.
Well, if you go by the timeline in the original series, like Harry Potter is coming of age during the 90s, and that was about the same time that I did too. So I understand like a lot more about the world, I think, than like my kids do. Because they can't imagine a world without the internet and.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I always kind of love like the fanon stuff of like why did no Muggleborns bring pens? Like you think you'd see more of an infiltration of some more Muggleborn stuff. Like imagine a Muggle be like, oh, I enchanted the batteries of my Game Boy. They never go out, so I have unlimited power on my Game Boy.
Yeah, well, I think one of the tendencies as a writer, because I wrote like a teenage series myself, and I don't include a lot of technology because it tends to date the books. So I
Yeah.
think that's part of it. I mean, I think a little bit more creeping in on her end would have actually served it better. So
Yeah, I think that's kind of what helps the Harry Potter books is even when you're in the Muggle area, um, there's not really much that dates the books. They don't really reference modern technology. Even the Muggle areas have like a timeless feel to them.
yeah, yeah, and then that is something that is essentially very British too. Like, and I think that's because it's part of their culture. They include a lot of things in it.
I mean, when your apartment building was built in 1562, you tend to view when the pub you go to is literally older than America,
Right.
and it's not even the oldest pub in town. You tend to view time differently.
Yeah.
Am I the hot hunk that you know gets to save the girls in your guys' books? Actually,
You
That
have
de-
Discord. You can
that
pretend.
depend that depends, sir. Have you bought the tier where you become a character in my book?
not necessarily. I thought you would do like me a homie favor. Actually,
No. Homie
No.
favors don't pay the bills. I've tried.
Yes,
They won't
pay
take
me
them.
pay me money, and I will do you a favor.
You left the mic
Yep.
off. Private
No. Yeah. He's looking at the campaign right now. He's looking at it like, okay, how much to actually
yep.
get this done?
We're gonna go to the campaign right now. Sorry if everyone did notice. Right now, doing this, the guy came over to check if the heater was working. Yeah, 100
I was
degrees.
wondering why there was a random white guy in the background.
Oh, I thought it was your dad coming back with the milk. No, I'm kidding.
That oh well,
No,
that wasn't gonna
no,
happen.
he came back with the smokes that he was going to get. Like I swear, if I ever do become a dad, every time I leave, I'm gonna say, "All right, I'm going out for smokes. See you guys later," and just and like one of these days, I'm just gonna be gone for hours. Like, wait, Danny's been gone way too long.
And then you'll be
And
what Brian said in that one Family Guy episode, a black guy.
I said nothing.
Well, what is a black guy?
I mean, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
No more.
Well, people
No
can't
more.
tell what a woman is these days. I'm hesitant.
I may or may
I know
not
what a
reference-
woman is. I think
What
I
is
do.
what is a man?
What is a
Little pile of
man?
secrets.
Everyone
I
asks that
think
thing.
what is a man is harder to answer.
No, a man is a miserable little pile of secrets, but enough talk, have at you.
Oh, well,
Yeah, lotto tickets,
I don't know.
Skittles, and a pack of Marlboro cigarettes or Newports, give or take. You know.
Yeah. No, it's got to be the menthols because supposedly black people like menthols.
What's wrong with you? You're crazy, man.
Everything.
Well, speaking of something that's lost in black people's lives,
He had to mute himself for that joke.
MSK is really good at self-deprecation. It's one thing we
no.
haven't.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't want you guys hearing that on the show.
Oh.
Are your neighbors having problems?
No, I don't want you guys hearing stuff outside or anything going on where he's fixing this right now. So yeah, Nick, you have a new book. Crazy. Am I right?
Yes, it's funded and it literally has 69 hours left to go. Nice. And yeah, I'm trying to get. We got a 2K stretch goal. I'm hoping to hit. I'm doing a closeout stream on Sunday, so
Wow.
we're rounding it.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really it's always nice to see people kind of like come together and support like books that look decent. So there's there's so many. I was gonna say there's just so many that don't deserve your time anymore, and I feel bad like as a novelist. I mean, like 'cause you want to believe that this like is like some kind of book baby where somebody's taken a lot of time and effort to put into something, and some of them just like I said they're like just not it's It's not. It's like a fake or something, like AI fake.
Mhm.
You
Well,
don't-
I think one thing that helped with me is I've been a comic book creator for like the past few years, and I've built up a reputation of I come out with a book, people back it, and then I deliver the book 3 months later. So that's probably helped me a little bit. This
4
is my
years
first
later?
comic.
Deliver your books 4 years later, Nick? Crazy.
No, I'm not the frog guy. I'm different. 3 or 4 months
You have to
later.
be
That's when I.
literal. You know, that's copyrighted, I think.
Yeah, I deliver it 3 or 4 months later. That's my thing. But yeah, this is my first time doing the book stuff, and yeah, I had some connections to help me out. But the response to this book has been really great.
Who's
And
that?
yeah, that is some ugly mother effer.
Is that you really? This is Nick. This is Daniel. Crazy. You guys switch bodies. It's crazy how you guys are both white and you're both wearing this attire. Both wearing the same. This was not planned. This was actually not planned. Why are you both wearing the same outfit?
No, I'm wearing red. He's wearing white.
Stop. Okay, I'm done with you. All right, C.S. Johnson.
Well,
you're
okay. The truth of that picture is, I was planning on doing like a comic event nearby, and I had this idea for an outfit, which included that. That was my test fit of the outfit, where I showered, I put the gel in my hair, and was like putting everything together. I did the test pick. It actually came up pretty good, so that's why I used that picture.
Yeah, I think it's a nice picture because it kind of matches like your voice, if that makes sense.
Well, I would hope my face matches my voice.
Hi, Chloe. Well, it's only 5 o'clock in the daytime where I'm at. It's 8 o'clock for them, so it'd be night for them, day for me. The sun, right now, he's currently fixing to see if my heater works for the winter time because winter time is coming up very soon. So, got to make sure the heater works properly because my AC went out and it would come back in. Apparently,
At least we can't hear your smoke alarm beeping. Here goes the Jax! Oh my god!
I don't even know if I have a smoke detector in here. So if I ever died, you guys would never know, honestly. Oh gosh. Wait, hold on. Wendy's will release a real life Krabby Patty? That's crazy.
I'm surprised they haven't done that sooner, to be honest. So, I mean, I'm surprised it's like Wendy's too, and not like.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Like I'm just surprised a ghost kitchen hasn't popped up doing a promotional like, oh, we have a Krusty Krab coming for a limited time. Get your Krabby Patties.
Well, I guess like, yeah. So still thundering and lightning on me. Sorry. I guess like
That's okay.
they have like a lot of toy deals with Nickelodeon, don't they? So.
Oh, that goes
Nope.
back ages.
What's
Yeah.
crazy is SpongeBob is celebrating its 25th year anniversary. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember.
I remember when it first started. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
It's so old that its car insurance is about to drop in price.
Those older episodes were wild. The one about the health inspector. Oh my god.
Graveyard Shift is probably still my favorite. So.
The one they try to kill that guy and bury him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I never got into SpongeBob myself.
Goodbye. All right, so it's just us.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't have difference of opinion here. You know how it goes. We have to be an echo chamber.
Yeah, well,
So what's the
I
secret
haven't,
formula
like,
then?
kept up with it. So, plankton is the secret ingredient.
It's cocaine.
That's probably cocaine. That shit has to be. Listen, one of the things I liked about SpongeBob when I was a kid was that I liked the real life stuff with two. Yeah, there was some real life elements to it. Like in the episode, Squidward left early, and then he forgot to tell SpongeBob how to make change. What the fuck?
Yes. Oh, yes. Squid's Day Off. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Those, like the first 4 seasons are like the classic episodes, and then everything after that is kind of like I don't know what happened or,
There was one episode way later on. I saw a reel for it on Facebook. Squidward tried getting a girlfriend. There was a squid, very basically Squidward is a girl. It was a different character. He couldn't ask her out properly. I was like, that's probably the best episode they've had in a very long time. You know, it's hard asking out girls. Girls are scary. We're saying I can relate to that. No, I'm saying it's easy to ask out girls. It's just
Girl,
I don't know.
Girl, you're married. You've literally beaten the game, and now you're on the epilogue. So come on.
Oh well, I'm like one of the people that people always ask me for dating advice anymore. So.
Did you ever get like hit on when you were married, actually, or you just didn't notice?
I didn't notice.
There could have been a guy spitting hot riz at you, and you just didn't notice him. You just let him down.
Wording.
That's if they're spitting stuff. That's usually like, oh, I'm gonna leave. Thanks. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna go wash my face. Thank you.
Gosh, Chloe says, in case you've never seen the live-action SpongeBob skit featuring the actual SpongeBob actors, look up Trusty Slab. Trusty Slab sounds like a black guy casting couch porn.
I think I've
studio.
actually seen that. It's wild.
Oh gosh.
I remember they have a musical. They have a musical like on Broadway. I don't think it's the actors that sing it, but it's.
Lady,
I've seen
who watches musicals?
White women do.
You listen to musicals?
Look at all the people that like got upset when Broadway closed because of COVID. There are lots of people that still like musicals. So
the only reason why I remember like Broadway was because on South Park, the episode, Randy said if he went to that, his wife would blow him. Only thing I remembered out of that.
Nope.
If you go to those, women will blow you. It's confirmed, honestly. Like when I went to the showing for It Ends With Us, there was more people in that theater watching that movie than I had watching like Trap or Alien Romulus or Borderlands or even Deadpool Wolverine. There was more people in my theater watching that than Deadpool Wolverine. Crazy. Women just eat up stupid shit.
To be fair, nobody was watching Borderlands, so.
Yeah, I heard that they got like 10 million at their box office debut, and that was it.
18 million overall. Crazy.
It was so sad, so bad.
Well, that's kind of like proof of the marketing push too, on some level. So.
Also, proof of the movie. The problem with that movie is the actors are way too fucking old. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love the actress they got for to play Lilith, but she was way too old to play Lilith. Lilith should be like a late 20s, early 30s character. They got someone in their 50s. Jamie Lee Curtis, amazing actress, amazing person. I love that woman to death, but she is way too old to play Tannis. They basically got like a bunch of 50-year-old geriatric actors to play characters who are legit no older than 35.
Yeah, well, it's hard to think of like legit famous people that everybody would recognize, but they're still young.
Well, that's what these kind of movies are for. Are for the younger actors to get name recognition, and then they can I swear, we're only now starting to get like a new young crop of actors. It's because like for the past almost 10 years, there's been like no new actors, and it's only now we're starting to get newer ones coming in.
Yeah, the whole thing about the movie star thing is almost over too, unless you literally have a new pipeline of actors coming up. Age of the movie star is going to be pretty much over, honestly. You know?
Yeah, like I'm happy for like people like Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega. These are great actors coming up.
You like Sydney Sweeney because she has big tits.
That's part of it.
He's probably not going to deny that. So.
There are two very big reasons I love Sydney Sweeney. Two very big round.
Tits. I'm just saying, if you have big tits, you get away with free stuff. Any girl that looks somewhat decent looking just gets away with free shit.
The other thing about Sydney Sweeney is she's kind of secretly based, but also like she admits the fact, like, yeah, people like me because of my boobs. I don't care. Like, yeah, like there's a lot of girls, and this bugs the shit out of me. Where like they do their thirst traps. They're like, oh, I'm a sweet innocent woman. Oh, don't sexualize me. They say as they start shaking their ass. Sydney Sweeney's like, yeah, you like it when I sexualize myself. Here, let me post a thirst trap. You guys, it's like she's honest about it. And I appreciate that so fucking much.
That is a trend that's become more evident about the authenticity-based kind of marketing. So.
Yeah, like when Sydney Sweeney said, "Oh, I don't regret Madam Web. It helped me build connections with Sony." I can respect that. I can respect that kind of honesty.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a big contrast too to Dakota Johnson, who was clearly unhappy with the movie. And
Well, to be fair, there's kind of this trend, and you've seen it forever, where actors get sold on a movie, and when they get to set, they get the script's completely changed, and the movie they're sold on is completely different. That is exactly what happened with Madam Web.
And not even just script changing daily on set. That's ridiculous. Actually,
Like originally, it was supposed to be a slasher movie, like a Terminator slasher. Like if you look at like what Madam Web was supposed to be, it's actually kind of an interesting movie. Like the movie had potential, like a Terminator slasher film, like protecting the unborn Peter Parker. Like that could have worked.
okay. Hey, I gotta head out, guys.
Yeah,
bye.
It's great having you here. Yeah,
Yep.
Nice meeting you.
Bye bye.
Well, no problem. Come back to me soon.
Yes, I will. Bye bye.
Are you? Okay, so she left me. So it's just me and you. Actually,
Yes, now you're stuck with the white guy.
You know that post you had yesterday about the whole Power Rangers thing?
Which one?
No. It was
I was kind of milking the Power Ranger Day algorithm.
No. It was the whole Power Ranger Day thing. Everyone talking about like Tommy and what's their favorite seasons. It was, you know, it's cool, dude. It's nice to know that people still stuck with the show after Mighty Morphin, because people, if you tell them there was more seasons and people still kept watching, their minds can't grasp that. They're like, wait a minute, you kept watching? What do you mean? Why would I stop?
That's the normie standpoint. I always say there's three types of Power Ranger fans. There are Power Ranger fans, the ones who like the entire franchise. You know, sometimes they like more seasons than others. There are MMPR fans, like the kids who watched it as a kid. They kind of fell out during Zeo. They just remember MMPR. I got no problem with MMPR fanboys. I totally understand that. Then you have the JDF fanboys. The Jason David Frank is like they just continually jerking him off and just all that bullshit. Those people I find insufferable. You know, like it's one thing if you like the Green Ranger, like that's fine, but like just the worship of him. I find it, and also it held back the franchise, because like every time JDF was involved with the anniversary, it was always centered around him. Like he had to be the center of attention for all the stuff, and nothing really. Sorry, that's
no. I understood it from a marketing standpoint because he was the most recognizable face, but
I get that too.
No, but like the thing with me, I find it so weird that apparently that if a bunch of people didn't watch after Mighty Morphin, that somehow that the whole world kept not watching Power Rangers. I want to know how weird that sounds. So just because you stopped watching the show does not mean other people stopped watching it, nor stopped continuing with it years and years and years after the fact. Okay?
Well, the problem is Power Rangers had peaks and valleys. So ratings are starting to decline towards the end of season 3. That's why they went to Zeo. And the show was actually almost canceled after Turbo. But In Space had literally the best ratings of the show ever. Because like the final season pulled all the stops. And then it kind of went on for a little while longer. Then Disney bought it. Then went away for a little while. RPM 2009 was supposed to be the last season. Then 2010 they did like the George Lucas thing, MMPR. Then Saban brought it back, and it kind of limped along. And Hasbro, it limped along. And now it's kind of in like this weird limbo. And the thing is, it's always been an undercurrent of Power Ranger fans. They've always kind of stuck by the like Power Ranger fans are very loyal. Like, but it's kind of an underground thing. I don't know.
No. People factor in Zeo. There's a reason why they brought Jason back. That wasn't because of the whole Triforia thing. That was a story thing they did. They brought Jason back because it was supposed to meant to stabilize the ratings. Jason came back as Gold Ranger. It stabilized the ratings, but before Turbo premiere, remember they had that Turbo movie, which was certainly a movie ever made. Let's just say that.
I mean, that's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing ever. Because here's the thing about the two Power Ranger movies. The first movie was like a big budget, Hollywood extravaganza, movie stars, big production. That movie's not canon. They actually retold the ninja story in the show. Turbo was more of just a episode of the show, but on a much higher budget. That movie's actually canon to the actual story.
Yeah, I think the bad reception to that movie hurt Turbo, but Turbo itself isn't a good season anyway. And then you couple with that fact that the ratings were dipping. People forget Power Rangers in Space literally saved the entire franchise. Had it not been written good, nor did what it did, we wouldn't have it. Power Rangers would just be over if Power Rangers in Space didn't save it. And remember what you said earlier, Wild Force, they're almost going to cancel after Wild Force. Disney buys it.
No, that's not really what happened. What happens was Disney bought Fox, all the Fox shows, and they included Power Rangers. Like that's why Fox Kids became Fox Box in the 2000s. It's because Disney bought all that, and it went over to Disney. That's why that happens. Power Rangers was still doing pretty okay because the post Zordon arc years, which was Lost Galaxy through let's say Wild Force, the ratings were actually pretty good. Like Time Force was actually a very well rated season, so good in fact they're actually considering making a Time Force movie at one point.
Well, I thought originally the reason why it was not going to get kept was because Disney maybe didn't want to have Power Rangers a part of their brand, and I know there was always some friction of them having it because of the sale, actually. Well, they couldn't wait to get rid of it anyway. Like when he offered to take it back from them before Samurai, they take it back.
Well, there was a good almost 10 years where Power Ranger did it, and some of the Disney seasons was actually arguably some of the best seasons of Power Rangers ever.
I love Ninja Storm. I love Dino Thunder. I like SPD a lot. I like a lot of them actually. They're out.
Dino Thunder
really good. Yeah,
Dino Thunder is literally a better MMPR than MMPR. RPM is great. SPD, Jungle Fury has its fans. All 5 of them.
I don't know how Jungle Fury has any fans. Jungle Fury is like trash. I couldn't stand it.
It's okay. It's okay.
You rewatched it? I rewatched it. It's so it was like, oh, dude, Daichi just saves the entire show. Daichi saves the entire thing. It's so boring to watch.
I think the problem with Jungle Fury is people take one look at the Sunglass Morphs, they're like, oh, I'm out. Sunglass Morphers, nope.
I like them. I like the sunglasses. For me, none of the main characters were really just meh. Like Casey's meh, the Blue Ranger is meh. Like no one is really like interesting. Even when they got the Rhino guy, he wasn't all that interesting. Nothing was truly interesting about it. Just felt like a drag, honestly. I don't know. Maybe I grew out of it at the time. I don't think I did. I watched plenty of their old. I even watched Super Mega Force when I was older.
The most hilarious thing is
vibe with it.
The Disney era actors actually have a better track record of like post Power Ranger success than the because if you look at like a lot of the Disney era actors, a lot of them still show up elsewhere. Like for example, Rose MacGyver from RPM Yellow. She was iZombie. She was in iZombie. Emma Lohana, Dino, was in Hellcats. A lot of stuff. The Rhino Ranger was in Daredevil. RPM Red was in Jessica Jones. She was
also in the originals too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those people. Like a lot of those actors did go on to actually do some stuff. I'm trying to think who else here, but a lot of them did.
Oh, Tonight 7 headlined that one medieval show on the CW for a while there.
Rain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good lord.
Yeah,
I will say they hired some really hot
Yellow.
chicks. Mm-hmm.
Jungle Fury Yellow made out with a plastic wolf from Cabin in the Woods.
You're crazy, man.
No, she's in it. She's a blonde in Cabin in the Woods.
I know. It's just it's Power Rangers, for all the faults and greats of the franchise, they always cast really hot women. Those women are drop dead gorgeous. Most of them. Obviously, there's exceptions here and there, but most of them are pretty good.
Fun fact. So you know who Summer Glau, like the girl from Firefly?
I'm pretty sure, yes. What happened with her?
She was actually the runner-up to play the Yellow Wild Force Ranger.
Oh, she's gonna be Taylor? That's cool, huh?
She was the runner-up. And then the other things is like a lot of the Zordon ones went to be voice actors. Like we all know we all know that Johnny Young Bosch became a voice actor. But like this is my favorite thing. All 3 Devil May Cry voice actors have a Power Rangers connection. So we all know Johnny Young Bosch, Miro. That goes without explanation. Virgil is played by Daniel Sonsworth, the read the Quantum Ranger from Time Force, and then Ruben Longdren. This is the best story. He was actually a stunt actor during Time Force. But not only that, he was actually in the Japanese Beetleborgs. He was Beefighter Yama, which is, Beefighter became Beetleborgs. So like he himself has a connection, and I did think that's great.
Dude, you know the problem with Mighty Morphin fans is that when you try to tell them, hey, I'm not saying you can't even think of Mighty Morphin as the best Power Ranger season of all time, because that's your own subjective opinion. I would always say, I always said this for years, there's better seasons that came after that. Like quite a lot of them are way better. Like,
and that's
top 10,
kind of the I get the people. Like, I totally respect the people. Like, oh, I watched MMPR, then I fell out of it, and I didn't really do anything from that. I get that. I totally get that kind of thing. That's perfectly fine. And you have a nostalgic attachment to MMPR, and you don't really care about anything else. Like, I get that. Like, that is a perfectly reasonable thing to take. But the people who are like, oh, I know about the other seasons. I've watched them. MMPR is the best. It's like, what is going on in your head?
I didn't know that, actually. Fun fact. Amy Jo Johnson is still... Amy Jo Johnson was in Flashpoint. Wasn't she? Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Oh, she was in a lot of stuff. Like, she actually was in Felicity. The show Felicity from the 90s. She was a big part of that.
I heard Catherine was going to come back in Dino Thunder, but they scrapped that idea. That would have been a really cool idea. To have her be Haley. She was going to be like the cave lady. That'd be pretty cool.
Here's what I understand. When they did the Red Ranger crossover in Wild Force, apparently at the end when JDF goes to the car, it was supposed to be Catherine waiting for him, but they kind of scrapped that.
No! God damn it! Why do I screw? I always liked Catherine more than Kimberly. I think she was just a better person in general, but a better character for Tommy.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, to be fair, I think Catherine got more development than Kimberly. Because they didn't really do much character development during the MMPR seasons. Like, they started to do some towards the end of MMPR, but Zeo was when they really started developing the characters. And I think Catherine really benefited from the focus on characters in Zeo.
Yeah, I can understand why people didn't like her initially, because she's kind of her arc was just like a ghetto version of Agreeing with Evil. It wasn't as good, wasn't as impactful. But if you follow her character after that, she's a really good character. People like Kimberly because she's cute, which she was. Well, she's so decently attractive. Like, I always liked Catherine more. I thought she was just a better character.
I don't like how they handled the transition from Kimberly to Catherine, where they basically Dear John, like Kimberly basically Dear John'd him. I'm sorry, Kimberly wouldn't do that. She wouldn't just send him a fucking letter breaking up with him. She wouldn't do that. At least a phone call. At least I'll give him a phone call.
When is JDA's anniversary death going to be? Like, when is that coming up? Isn't that supposed to be in a few months? We should do a stream where we do our top 10 seasons. Actually, we got to do it. I know we talked about doing it, but we really got to do it this year. We missed it on the Power Ranger Day. Yeah.
My thing is, when it comes to Power Ranger fans, I tend to be a pariah because I don't like JDF. Like, and like Green, like I don't like. Here's the thing.
How'd you not like JDF in Dino Thunder then? Dino Thunder is one of your favorite seasons.
No. Here's my thesis. Tommy is best as a supporting character. Like, as a Green Ranger, he was great. Villain and then supporting actor. When he became the leader, he became bland, milquetoast, whatever. And Red Rangers, it was even worse. When he came back in Dino Thunder, suddenly he was great again because he was a mentor. They utilized his experience really well. Like, especially during the White Ranger arc, like, hey guys, don't destroy him, my friends. See, I feel like when JDF isn't forced to carry the entire show, his acting is a lot better because he's not like under as much pressure.
So you mean like the Ninja Steel special? Did you like that one he was in? Where they all came back?
It was okay. It did fall prey to like, oh Tommy, you're the greatest Ranger ever. It kind of felt.
You know they're gonna do that, dude. But at least in the Forever
not
Red,
gonna lie. Not gonna lie, the Master Morpher scene was legit cool. I am sorry. Also, seeing the Falcon Zord, that did tickle my nostalgia bone. So even I'm not.
Oh no,
not
what I
even-
liked in
I'm-
Forever Red was that they at least made fun of it, where Cole was like, you know, he really is the greatest Ranger. They all just laughed at him, like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, at least they made fun of it, you know. But in Ninja Storm, they're just sucking him off. Like, you know, if you're gonna do that, at least make it a funny bit. You know, at least make something more out of it than, oh, well, he's just the GOAT, so we just gotta just suck this guy off, you know? Because that just gets boring after a while, you know?
Yeah. Legendary Battle was very disappointing. I did like some of the cameos. One of my favorites was because Danny Slavin, Lost Galaxy Red. The reason he doesn't return is he's a fucking lawyer now, and he's admitted.
No way.
He just
Leo's a lawyer.
Yeah, and he's kind of gone out and said he just did Power Rangers for the money, which I'm sorry, I respect that. My favorite thing is like, oh, what's your dog's name? Danny. Good name, because that's the name of the actor. I thought that was kind of funny. And they brought back Melody Perkins, Corona's Lost Galaxy Pink. She had this moment where it's like, I like being a Power Ranger. And they flashed the Corona head as she put it on. I was like, okay.
I did like that. It was a nice little tribute. I like that. It was fun. Mm-hmm.
See, my problem is, even in the extended cut, they had Rangers that come back that didn't even get any lines, like Samurai, Yellow, and Green.
Yeah.
Like, they just stand there. They never get any lines. Like, why did you bring them back?
That's why the actors have problems with doing the show, is because they get what you said earlier about the other actors. They, like the Madam Web part, they get billed on what it's going to be. They go to there, they film, they're there all day, and then they don't even get what they came there to film. It's like, I can't blame
that's not even
over there.
That's not even the least of it. Like, Power Rangers has a history of underpaying actors, treating them like
since the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, like the reason why those three left in the beginning was they wanted to form a union. And then at the last minute, that kind of fell apart.
Yeah, they said Tommy, Jason David Frank was in on it.
Tommy pulled the Hulk Hogan. Tommy pulled the Hulk Hogan.
They said he backed out because, as we know, that's what the media told us, that they are trying to headline his own stuff by himself. It was just a mess. Like, holy shit.
The stuff with Tommy returning as a White Ranger. So I don't know if you know. So you know VR Troopers, right? So you know, like the VR Troopers spinoff they did, right?
Yeah. I know that originally the White Ranger is not actually. It was from a different season, isn't it? Right?
Oh, okay. No, I gotta explain this. So originally, Jason Frank was going to headline his own show called Cybertron.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
which was going to take footage from a Metal Hero show, and then Brad Hawkins was going to be the White Ranger. This is all confirmed, by the way. This is actually going to happen. Then at last minute, they switched it out. They had Brad Hawkins take over Cybertron, which eventually became VR Troopers, and then Tommy came back as the White Ranger. And Brad actually did voice the Gold Ranger before he came out as Triforia.
I noticed that his voice is different from his first appearance till later on when it's Trey of Triforia. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that happened. There's all these weird shenanigans.
Yeah, because I remember growing up, I was like, why does the White Ranger suit look so much different from theirs? And you kind of find out from entirely different Sentai, because the original Green Ranger from that Sentai dies, actually, and it's like, holy mother of God, that shit got dark. You're like, holy shit. That's why I love Power Rangers, man. I've always loved it.
I do too.
It's one of those things where, like, I understand why as kids people could fall off of things. Your interest just dwindle off because kids have interests like that. But
the problem is in the 90s it was one trend after another, and that kind of led to 2000s a little bit. It's like you had TMNT, Power Rangers, Pokemon, then Yu-Gi-Oh, and then kind of like all the movies that came out at those times, like Scream, Jaws dropped. There's so much shit. Star Wars was coming back for a little bit later on. Oh yeah, Star Wars came back in 90, and then also
you're right. Yeah,
the first Harry Potter book came out in 1997.
The Batman 89. Batman 89 was a year before the actual 90s started. Then you had Batman Returns.
That's why I consider the 90s a decade of trends. Like, it was just one thing after another. Like, obviously, you got some bleed over from, like, the 80s and in the 2000s. But in the 90s was just everything. It was all trends, like Beanie Babies. There's all fads going on. It was a really interesting time.
What's crazy? I don't. Power Rangers are the weirdest fans. Power Rangers, it's crazy because they'll accept a lot of bullshit. I noticed Power Rangers, they're very accepting, but they're very loyal too. But I just can't get in the mind of how they could probably think that just because one of them stopped watching after a certain period of time means that every other fan just stopped watching. I'm like, how in the, like that sounds kind of pretty narcissistic, right? To think like, you yourself stopped watching, so that means everyone else did. How did you come to that conclusion? Who told you that?
Yeah, like, and the most hilarious thing is when you see these videos of people trying to apply actual logic or scaling, like, oh, let's do a timeline of Power Rangers. Let's do scaling of power. Like, it's none of the, when they created Power Rangers, they didn't care about scaling. They didn't care about timeline. There is no consistency with Power Rangers. Like, I don't know what he's doing right now, but okay. And so like the people trying to like, oh, this because of this, there's always like whenever you try to like, all right, let's try to use in-show logic to explain something. Right. You can't.
Okay. Also, the reason why people forget, the reason why they don't in comic books, they're a lot more super powered. They couldn't do that in the shows because they're, as you pointed out earlier, the budgets are pretty nothing. Actually,
I mean, this is a show that is so low budget. They're using Japanese footage for the fight scenes. Now, granted, seasons 2 and 3 they actually did do a lot more suit fights because they had made like a lot of money for the toys, so they had a bit more money to throw around. But yeah, they almost never did their own Zord footage.
Like the earliest of it was maybe Bridge when he picked up a car in SPD. That's probably like one of the biggest ones of it. There's been a few instances here and there, but most of it is
they have
pretty low budget special effects. Yeah.
I mean, they have done their own Zord footage. Like, they did it in, I think when they destroyed the Thunder Zords, that was American footage. I know for Turbo, at the end fight, they filmed their own Zord fight, but that was a movie, so that doesn't really count. I think for
Titanium Ranger, earliest example of them doing something on their own.
Yeah, that was the first American-made Ranger. They actually did the same in Jungle Fury. They made the Jungle Fury Masters. Or American-made
those
Rangers.
Are all American-made. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. You know what's I don't know if this movie's canon. It would have to be because the Mystic Rangers got their forms after that. Like that Lights of Orion upgrade they usually get. That Mystic movie? Force movie. It's like a little mini Mystic Force movie. Maybe it's probably considered an extended TV special now. Back in the day when I watched it on Disney, it was considered a movie, but probably a TV special. There was this Mystic Force movie that was probably like the best one they ever did. Because I didn't watch that samurai crossover that they did apparently with RPM.
Well, yeah, that was a weird one because that was the first time they had used Sentai footage for a crossover since I believe Lightspeed Rescue and Lost Galaxy. Because the thing you got to realize, like the reason why you didn't really see any Zord fights in the crossovers post that was that they're all American-made footage. Because their footage does exist. Because Sentai has done a crossover every year since Kaku Ranger and O Ranger, aka
they always crossovers. Yeah, it's like that's the big thing that they lead to every season. Yeah,
and the Clash of the Red Rangers is a combination of the Go-Onger and Shinkenger, RPM and Samurai. Sorry, I'm flexing here. And then it's also because the other thing is they do a standalone movie for each Sentai season, and so
how much love they get over there for their Power Rangers. My God,
Super Sentai. It's called Super Sentai. But it's a combination of the crossover and the original movie. Like that's why like after the crossover ends, it kind of becomes like a different movie towards the end. Like the Red Ranger actually like disappears, kind of if you notice.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is Eka Darville, who's RPM Red, he actually had to go under pseudonym. Because during the Disney era, and actually towards the end of the Saban era, they became Union. Like, that's why, if you noticed, towards the end of the Saban era, they start to get higher quality actors, or actually, like, for example, Rancic was in, like, Mad Max, Commando, like, actual actors.
Mm-hmm.
And this stuff is because they came Union, I believe, around, like, Lightspeed or something. And the Disney era was Union as well. But when they came Saban, they were non-Union again. And so, since Eka was a Union actor, he actually had to do his voice under a pseudonym. But if you actually listen to voice, it's very clearly Eka Darville.
Like, well, before we go, got about another like good 5 minutes here. People have been asking, what's the future of the franchise gonna be? I would say this, because the comics, they're gonna do this too. They're gonna not do a Mighty Morphin series. It's gonna be they're gonna try doing something different in the comics coming up with Jaden's
It's
sister.
gonna bomb. It's gonna bomb. They're gonna basically do what they did to Turtles, which is basically just SJW it up. And like, oh wait, these aren't the Mighty Morphin Rangers. I don't know who these are. I don't care.
Yeah. The
reason why the comics did so well is because they were sailing on the name recognition of MMPR, and it was a new stories. Like, the reason why Lord Drakkon works so well is it's what if Tommy went actually evil, which is a good story hook. Like, it's an actual great idea, and you can sell the normies on it. It's like, oh, and his powers are a combination of White Ranger and Green Ranger. Like, it is simple enough that the normies get it, and that's why the Pounder comics did so well. And because they're not really doing MMPR, they're going to lose the name recognition. And I'm sorry, there's not.
And after that, because the number one thing, they don't have Mighty Morphin to headline it anymore. And after issue number 1, unless that's like Ultimate Spider-Man levels, they're not going to get the sales after that.
Here's my prediction. The series is going to flounder for about 4 or 5 years. Then Hasbro's going to sell off. Because the problem is, when Hasbro bought Power Rangers, there's kind of this one person that was really passionate about Power Rangers. I think he's either left the company or he's passed on. The point is, he's no longer with the company. Hasbro clearly does not care about Power Rangers. They're not going to put in their Energon universe. They said they were going to, but they kind of stopped that. So I think it's going to flounder for a few years, and then it's going to sell to somebody. It's going to be really hilarious. Saban buys it back
who's
again.
going to buy it, though? That's the problem is...
Somebody will, because the Power Ranger franchise is a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and MMPR name alone carries enough money that someone will buy it for a good price.
Sell it to Warner Brothers. That's all you got to do, because they're rolling in dough, aren't they?
Wait. Okay. We need to have Henry Cavill as a Red Ranger.
Yeah, no, like I think a Black Nerd had a video about this. I'll probably do a EFAP of that one and do some Power Ranger news videos, because I haven't
watched him in a long time.
He did a Power Rangers one recently where he brought up some really interesting points. Where basically, who do they want to cater to? Because it feels like when they cater to just one crowd, the other ones falter. Then they're doing that modern audience thing you're talking about. It's just, they need to focus on, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is where we could be at, and we'll get to these things later on. You could literally start it off with Mighty Morphin, but then later on, hit the other seasons that people like. In Power Rangers, there's a world you can do that. It's established. There's a multiverse of it after, RPM. So
I think, I do think, if you want to look at what they should look at people like Ninja Turtles and also Pokemon. Because what both franchises do is they have multiple projects for different age ranges.
I could
look at Turtles. Turtles has the cartoons for the kids, but they still release adult stuff. They still acknowledge the adult side of things. And that's what Power Rangers needs to do, is they need to have the base cartoon for kids that still brings us forward, but also do a live action Netflix thing where you bring in the actors. Because here's the thing, Once and Always was a hit. Like, that did well. Like the people who, like, I enjoyed it. I think that was a great, like, that's what they should have done. Like, they should do more like Once and Always. I think that was a great idea. The actors themselves have stated they'd love to do stuff like that again.
And just also, since Tommy's gone, like you said, well, there has to be a face of the franchise. Like, that's how most franchises live on. There has to be a face. He's gone, so who's the face of it? Someone from the Mighty Morphin cast. Could they do it? Austin St. John, I don't think he could.
Well, the problem with Austin St. John is it's that stupid, like, COVID stuff, which let's be honest, it's really a huge nothing burger. But they keep trumping it up like it's like this, like, oh my god, he killed puppies. Like okay, he did some COVID stuff. Like, tons of people were doing that. Shut the fuck up, But like, honestly, I think it should like once and always proved David Yost and Walter Jones are perfectly capable. Oh my God, Walter Jones, his acting, like he carried that. Like David Yost is great, but Walter Jones really, like he was the emotional center of that. And Walter Jones is a hell of an actor. And he like I want to see more Walter Jones as a Black Ranger because he was great.
Yes. Well, guys, we do have to head out of here. I got to get something done before I get to my next.
I don't
podcast.
get to talk Power Rangers very often, so
no. I would love to talk about it more. It's just I got to get to the thing because I have my next podcast at 7 my time. But we are going to do a Power Rangers top 10 very soon. It's just
I'll be there.
Any Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fans, keep in mind, and this happens in Yu-Gi-Oh, this happens in most franchises. Just because somehow you fell off of it at any point in the franchise's lifespan does not imply that everyone else did. Okay, I just stop thinking that. That is beyond cringe. You know.
Oh, I have an idea.
Right now.
I want to run past you after the stream.
Okay. Also, Power Rangers in Space is better than all seasons of Mighty Morphin. That's just my opinion.
Yes.
But hey, what do I know? Actually,
yeah.
There's always better seasons after Mighty Morphin. But hey, if that's your favorite season, I guess that's cool. Honestly. Anything else you want to say before we head out? Anything you want to plug?
Buy my book. Buy my book.
I hate you so much, actually. So, yes, later on tonight, you guys will see a new episode of the Cloud9 podcast at 7:15 PST because Chaz has to get up for work early in the morning. So we got to get the show done in about an hour, actually. And I got to get this thing washed before the show. So I got about a good 30 minutes of free time. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for checking out the Iron Man podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Deuce.